Lemon Amiga presents a Playguide video review. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hey there, welcome to another Lemon Amiga game guide and review. This time we'll be checking out Simon the Sorcerer CD32, developed by Adventuresoft and published by Blittersoft in 1994.
For my first trick, pulling the dog out of the hat. Thank you, Chippy. Now for some credits.
This game was created and designed by Simon Woodroff, and all the code mostly was created by Mike Woodroff. And Simon and Mike also worked on Waxworks for Accolade in 1993, and you might remember the Elvira series, Elvira 1 and 2 as well. So the Woodruffs, not to be confused by Simon Woodroff that appeared on Dragon's Den, that's a different Simon Woodroff, but this Simon Woodroff is more famous for this game. You can see illustrator Paul Drummond as well, and so the voice is, of course, Chris Barrie, and the other voice was Roger Blake.
This homework is really bugging me. I think I'll find the dog and put it in the dryer again. So that's where you are. What's this? Ye oldie spellbookie. What a load of old rubbish. Huh?
Okay, gobbers. This magic paper bring food. I thought I heard something. Aliziggy, Alizangy, Alizongy, Alizungy. Ah!
Huh? Hi, how do you do?
Laptop! No.
Yes, not to rip off Tolkien at all, we first find 3 trolls, and they don't turn to stone, unfortunately, and they appear to have an elf there with pig, oxen, whatever that may be, and you can find yourself in another world in this game, playing as a wizard, and initially you think that it's all just a dream because you found yourself in bed, but no, you find yourself in a cottage, and this is Calypso the Wizard's cottage.
Dear Simon, I am pleased to announce that you have been chosen from literally hundreds of hopeful candidates to perform a death-defying but extremely worthwhile quest, for which you will be rewarded quite a lot. All you have to do is rescue me from the hands of the evil sorcerer Sordid. Feel free to use my extremely valuable spellbook and dog to assist you. Look forward to seeing you soon. Wish you were here. Love and kisses, Calypso, Grand High Wizard of the village of Fleur-de-Lis. P.S. Before you can use the spellbook, you must become a wizard. There are some wizards hanging around in the local tavern who can help you. P.P.S. Use this magic postcard and map to help you. Oh, great. I'm stuck here in this stinking world in these stinking clothes and not a pizza bar in sight. Lucky this is just a dream, or I'd be really worried.
We have now picked up a map and some documents, and by waving that mouse pointer around the screen, we can hopefully locate other items.
To save or load a saved game. This magical map is used to speed around the game.
We can click on items and find out what they do, and you can see a fridge over here. Maybe if we open that fridge it will reveal...
Wouldn't expect to see one of those here. The door appears to be stuck shut. A shallow drawer in the wizard's writing desk. Oh look, there's a pair of scissors in here. It must be Calypso's junk.
This game takes quite some time to unfold, and during the first hour we'll mostly be exploring and filling in places on the map. And in some of the early rooms you can find items, you can even walk straight past them, like there's a clapper on this bench. Let's grab that clapper and add that to our collection, along with the scissors and the map and the notes. And some of these doors we can open, but some of them we can't.
It's locked.
This is a small village and it only contains a few locations. One of those locations is this guy, pretty shifty, and you won't have the item to trade with him at the start of the game, although you can have a conversation with him, a pretty pointless one, where he'll try to sell you loads of items. And so this screen reminds me of Indiana Jones, where we get fez-wearing vendors trying to flog us useless items, and this game opens with lots of homages to all the other point-and-click adventures out there, as well as J.R. Tolkien, and the Lord of the Rings books, and also other things like that. So the in-jokes in this game start almost from square one, and you will have to make use of those if you want to get through this game.
See anything takes your fancy?
Not really. Have you got any magical stuff?
But of course I have, for the right price. Firstly, there's a strength potion. Watch. Genuine, long-lasting, fast-acting strength potion. Yours for only 10 gold pieces. Alright, 5 gold pieces.
Well...
3 gold pieces then? But that's the last I go. What do you say?
I've changed my mind about magical stuff.
That was the last of it anyway. Did you see anything else interest you?
No, all the rest is junk. Goodbye.
Who needs your custom anyway?
In this room we can see 3 exits, and we know what one of them does, and this one leads to a ladder. So what do? We don't climb that ladder, no, we can put that away in our hat and our magic inventory, because you never know when a ladder can come in handy. And so let's explore the village whilst we're here, whilst we can get away from this massive exposition that is all over the place. And of course, anything that you can wave your mouse pointer over has to be something that you can interact with. In this room we're looking for a specimen jar, and it should be all the way up here. If I pick that up, it should mean that we have one of the first items that we need, and there should be other items to pick up in this room. I'm not sure if you can pull and push the moose head around, and that might trigger off hidden item. I don't think it does. Let's just try anyway and move the moose head, and unfortunately
I don't see the point.
it doesn't appear to do anything. So we can pick up something down here. It looks like a medicine bottle that we can pick up, and cold remedy. We don't need that straight away, but later on we'll find a dragon who's got a cold, and of course a cold remedy would come in handy for that. So let's pick that up, and I think that's all of the items that we need in this particular room. You can see these rooms, all of them are highly decorated and highly coloured. This is AJ CD32 graphics, you can see. And in this room we can't see much. A truffle door, that gives us an idea. Chocolate truffle door, and we can't get through that unless we have a pig that smells truffles, and of course a beehive. We don't really want to get too near that at this stage. So the puzzles at this stage are logical, although they will become a little more illogical as time goes on. So let's move on to that third door, and there aren't many doors to go through now before we get to the edge of the village. One of them leads to a shop, and in the shop we can hopefully buy things, but I don't really want to go in there for the time being. I really want to go to the edge of town where you can see we can find a public house. Going through the door to that public house reveals some pirates of ill repute, so just checking out the area. This way leads to all the way back to the blacksmith's, so you can see it loops around itself. Let's head back to the bar and let's see if we can do anything in there that'll help us. And in this game you have to open doors, it won't do that automatically. There isn't much we can do at this point, but you can see a guy with a beard, and hopefully we can find the matches as well on the corner. You never know when matches are going to come in handy. And back to the beard and the scissors. Of course there is only one outcome to a beard and scissors, just like Monkey Island. We'll have to cut that off.
I wouldn't want to wake him.
And now we have a beard disguise that we can wear a little bit later on, and the rest of the bar is a bit useless for the time being, so let's just hike on over to the back room where we can find all those guys of ill repute.
So I'm the east wind, right? I thought I was the east wind. You're a southern breeze. I think we're all winds. I'd rather be a breeze than a wind. You can lose your hat in a wind. What you do is tie it on with a piece of string. You're up to...
Excuse me.
Yes, boy?
I'm looking for some wizards. Know where I can find some?
I bain't be seeing any round these parts, like. We be us humble farmers.
In the back room you can see they've gone for a Defender of the Crown look, and the graphics on offer, there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. And of course we get voice actors as well. There are only 2 voice actors in this game, of course Chris Barrie, and the other actors, the druids, the owl, Sworded himself, and even Calypso is voiced by Roger Blake. And so at this point you have to convince these guys to give you a trial, and they say go off and bring us an object. I can't remember what the object is at the moment, but I do remember that I didn't get to succeed in convincing these guys to offer me the trial during this playthrough, which is fantastic. It means that we get to leave this place a little bit early and skip a lot of this exposition dialogue.
So why us?
Never mind. I've got other clues.
Yes, when I move my mouse pointer over you, it says wizards, and that is definitely a tip-off to the computer genre, because if you don't ask that question, then you won't get the right response.
Never mind. I've got other clues. When I move my mouse pointer over you, it says wizards.
Oh, fair enough, I suppose. Disguise is off, lads. What did you want to speak to us about anyway?
we really want to be a wizard, so let's ask that question.
Wizard.
You, a wizard?
What do you mean?
My dear boy, you can't just jump into wizardry just like that. It requires years of study. Come back next century when you're older. So the prevailing wind is north, yes? Oh, not at this.
I think you can definitely walk back into these places and ask different questions, and there will be a bottle of beer behind the bar that we'll need to make use of a bit later on, but we don't have the wax from the beehive just yet. We saw the beehive, we don't have the wax, so what can we do? All we can do is use the map. You can see it is completely blank at the moment, and there is a river halfway through the map which unlocks some of the rest of it, and there's some mountains as well that we'll have to climb up during this playthrough, and there's a dense forest as well. So for now all we can do is click back on the village, and that will bring us back hopefully to the current screen, or the screen which is associated with the village. And so most of this playthrough will be hiking around, unlocking things so that we can select them on the map. And so how do you get out of the village? Well, you can see this shop screen. Once you've reached the shop screen, you pull to the right here, and of course it appears directly in the middle, which is one of the annoying things about this game. As you'll see a bit later on, you can't always rely on those directions to show us where to go. And there is something to the south here, but we'll skip that for the moment. We'll continue on, and in this direction we'll find a guy who needs, guess what, a barbarian. He needs a thorn pulling out of his foot. Where have we seen that before? Yes, the Dizzy games and virtually every other nursery rhyme and things like that. So it's not really hard on the player at this point, and at this stage it's even holding the player's hand. If you answer what appears to be the problem, that is the problem solved in this case.
What appears to be the problem?
It's this thorn. I got it stuck in my foot and I can't get it out.
Let's have a look at it then. Soon have this out. It might sting a bit.
Ow!
There we are, all done.
Thank you so much. I'm forever in your debt.
Think nothing of it.
Okay, but here, take this whistle. If you ever need any help, just blow it and I'll be there.
Thanks. What a nice guy.
The orc has now given us a magic whistle, and as long as we hold that whistle, then we can get over the bridge to the second half of the map. And so all we need to do now is to find that bridge, and of course we exited to the left and appeared at the bottom, and that just confuses us in this maze of trees. So we'll return to this screen a bit later on. Let's just explore this area. It's been ages since I've played this game, so guess what? I'm going to have to refresh my memory on how to play it.
What's the awful racket? Can you shut up, please?
Sorry, old chap, can't hear you.
Can you shut up for a minute?
I do beg your pardon.
Thank you.
How can I help you?
Can I have your, thingy?
If you mean my sousaphone, then no.
How long haven't you been playing it for?
I got it cheap this morning at a car boot sale.
We really want to get out of the screen as quickly as possible, because this is a dead end unless we've got the item that we need, and we're nowhere near having the item that we need at this stage. So let's exit that screen. That's definitely a dead end as far as we're concerned. So let's try to take another direction, and yes, let's try further down here. You see a pit, and maybe we need the ladder to get down the pit. I know that there's an archaeologist at the bottom of it looking for a fossil. So on this screen we can see a hole, and that hole is a dwarf hole, a dwarf mine.
Oi! Dwarves only.
I am a dwarf.
Course you are. Now sod off, or taste the sharp end of your spear.
Nice people.
But at this stage we can't go anywhere near it unless we're wearing the beard, and also unless we know that password, which we don't at the moment. So we'll continue on to the next screen. And so this game is a little bit sprawling. You can see wonderful butterflies, and you'll find animals and things like that on every screen. They didn't have to go to this level of detail, and it's just a little bit disappointing that the voice acting spoils this game, because it feels a bit drab and a bit wooden in places.
You look like you need cheering up.
No one could cheer me up. My life is in ruins.
Life ain't a bed of roses, you know.
Even if it were, I'd get scratched by the thorns. What did I do to deserve this?
What exactly is the problem?
Trees.
Trees?
You can see in this gorgeous scenery we get a lot of useless exposition. This guy needs an axe to chop down trees, so as long as we keep our eyes peeled for a magic axe we can get out of here and stop all this boring conversation. And this game was designed by Simon and Mike Woodroff, and of course I've mentioned that they were created Waxworks. Of course they went on to Simon the Sorcerer 2 in 1995, and then they moved on to the Fable Files, which I'd never heard of until I came to
Magical protection over them.
look up the notes and the information for this game. The Fable Files is something to do with Meet the Feebles and the X-Files, and that was released in 1997. That was actually released for the Amiga and also Windows and the Apple Mac. So if you have one of those machines, yes, you can find it online. You can download that from amigastore.eu, still in its original CD. You can download it, and you can still buy the Fable Files by this guy Simon Woodroff, which was his third game in this genre. And then the real third sequel came in 2002 when Simon the Sorcerer 3D came out for Windows, and then Simon the Sorcerer 4 also appeared later on, which is known as Chaos Happens. And I'd never even heard of Simon the Sorcerer 4, but apparently it is out there. And apparently right at the moment Simon Woodroff is working for Sega Research and Development, and he's been working for Sega since 2006, so still in the business hopefully. And so you can see that this game continues on and continues on. It's a bit like a story where we get to play through what is appeared to be a storybook, and when we click on characters, particularly with the CD version, we get all of those voices instead of all of that text. And that's great. It means that we don't have to read our way through the book. And so for kids learning to read, sometimes it's really fun learning to read with Monkey Island, but for this game it's just too long and it's just too much of a slog to get through these locations when all you want to do is to know how to get past them, particularly waiting for lots and lots of useless trivia to go off that screen.
Okay.
Finally, we've got an item. It's a metal detector, and metal detector, well, we can't use that at the moment, and we found a dead end, it appears. Dead ends. I think that we can get down here at some point, but you can see it's on the other side of that river. So yet again, we're still looking for the troll bridge. We've still got the means to get rid of the troll, but we're going to have to find a long way all around here. I'm pretty sure it is possible to get here, but I can't find out how to do it. I think you can jump down or something like that, but I can't figure it out. So what I'm going to have to do is to go all around the forest and go around it the long way.
I should have known this would happen.
Let's explore this direction, because this is definitely something that we haven't seen before, and sometimes it's a little bit finicky, like Flight of the Amazon Queen. You have to really get into those corners to click on where you're meant to go. And this is a bit of a diversion, but I'm going to take this diversion anyway because it's necessary, and it's necessary to get a magic ring a bit later on. So this leads to a wild and rather creepy character, and it's a guy who invites you to his birthday and tries to poison you with a brew, and if you drink it you'll just die. So you have to get out of there before he eats you up, or you die by one means or another, and it's pretty creepy for all the wrong reasons.
Hello? Anybody home?
Hello?
Huh?
Oh, it is so nice to have person come visit me. I is so pleased.
Doesn't half pong in here.
I can't smell nothing, except for the delicious stew, of course.
Delicious? It's disgusting! Let me out before I hurl!
Wow! I thought you were my first birthday friend. I thought you'd come to play.
To get out of this mess, we can make use of the jar.
Sit! Sit! Eat up your stew!
And hopefully by swapping the jar for that gloop, we can then pour that away into the jar so that we don't have to consume it. And now we can stash that away and leg it through that barn door as quickly as our little teenage legs can carry us away from this thing.
I hope you like it. Plenty more for friend.
No more for me, thanks. I'm stuffed.
Eat up. It's good for you.
Oh no.
Let's just escape whilst that door is open, and whilst we have that one last opportunity to get out of here, let's take it, and let's not bother to enter there.
That was a lucky escape.
Now we can also take the road through the swamp, and the swamp road is important because we're exploring at the moment, and we can simply jump without having to jump. That's a great effect, and look at those graphics. And so let's enter what looks like a cave, and that was the world's shortest cave because we're now at the North Pole, and the North Pole, that's interesting because everything's frozen up here. But it really is a great atmosphere no matter what, and we've managed to find a guy who's asleep, and we can't wake him up, I don't think, by any means at all at this moment.
I don't think I can shout loud enough to wake him.
Because that guy is stone deaf, he will definitely not help us at this point. But now we've got him, we can now use the map, and we can see that we can now materialise straight from him into the forest without having to go around the long way. And that means that we appear again right here. This is the dwarf mine. Again, not something that will be seen in this particular playthrough. So now that we have those ingredients together, hopefully we have that gloop, and by checking this room out, apparently there's supposed to be a shopping list hidden underneath a stone.
I think you have to open them from the inside.
And I didn't have any idea about that when I was playing this game, and I think that there is supposed to be a loose stone somewhere with a shopping list in it, but I couldn't find anything, so I tried to use the ladder, and of course you could think that that gap means we can only just fit through it, but no, there's nothing there. We cannot use that ladder. So it's a red herring and nothing is really obvious in the game. Trial and error means that we can't really trial or error anything to get any funny messages either. So this Castle Grayskull rip-off room is unfortunately not something that we'll return to again in this playthrough. But we've now checked that room out, so we know directly from the map we can get straight to it if we really need to. And down at the bottom of this pit, hopefully there is a guy looking for a fossil and I can talk to him, but I can't talk to him at the moment. Let's just read this sign.
It says, caution, paleontological dig in process.
And we won't get the fossil at the moment because that's behind the dragon. So the dragon is virtually at the end of this playthrough. Let's just explore a bit more. And we've got a few of the items that we need, but we still need the magic beans. And for that we'll still need the bucket of water. So that means I need the witch's place, and that means I need to find the witch's castle. But I'm still on the hunt for that troll bridge, and the troll bridge or the witch's castle would be handy to find at this point. And you might think that going around in circles probably means that we'll find it. I've no idea, because this thing is a bit of a maze, and we could be walking around in circles for ages. So let's just continue through these pretty gloomy woods at the moment, and now we'll find an owl.
Excuse me, boy?
Yeah?
I can't quite remember. Never mind.
Right.
I have no idea why the owl is important, but whatever the reason, he will now appear on that map. So if we need to teleport directly to the owl screen, we can do that. Let's continue on to that right. And what do we find? Yes, we find the exact same junction screen that we found before. Let's use that map and teleport directly back to the village, and just outside the village, if you remember, we found a fork. To the north it leads to all of that lot that we just discovered, and to the south hopefully it should lead to the witch's place, and we'll need that for one important reason. I think it's slightly a shame that virtually none of these locations has anything interesting going on, and it's a journey between location and location. And yes, it's great that it gives us all these wild animals, and that makes it feel like the place is alive, and they didn't have to go to all that effort to create all those animations. And I don't think there's anything that we can do here at this point, but this well is definitely interesting if we can figure out the right moves. And luckily, unlike a parser, we don't have to type that in. And the pull handle is all I'm trying to do at the moment. If I try to pull the well, it's not going to do anything. And maybe if I try to use the handle, it's not going to do much either. So maybe if I move the handle, that will pull a bucket of water. That's definitely a key item that we're going to need, but I can't seem to get in to the witch's place at the moment, and I can't remember how to do it either. So we've got the bucket of water. Let's just continue and let's see if we can find the troll bridge, and then a bit later on we can find the guy with the magic beans, and that's how we get rid of the bucket of water. You can see if we can't get to the garden from here, so I'm not sure if the witch has a garden, and I really can't remember what is in this building. So let's just speed on through, and as we exit the witch's place, what do we find? Termites!
Got any spare wood on you, mate?
Did you just hear something?
Just a bit of balsa or plywood. We're not fussy.
I must be hearing things. I could have sworn I heard a voice. I think I need to sit down.
Get off me! I couldn't breathe under there. My whole life flashed before my eyes.
There has to be some sort of logical explanation for this.
You could at least look at me when you're talking to me. Just because I'm begging doesn't mean I'm a bad person.
After another long conversation with those termites, which reminds me of the Ant game, and Ants we may or may not have reviewed so far on the Lemon Amiga Playguides, but we certainly will do at some point. And Ants is a bit like a lemming's high-pitched sound, so let's skip through, and if you return to this screen again, I think that these guys appear in your inventory, although termites have no idea why you have loads of termites or ants or whatever they might be in your inventory. Luckily you don't mix those with the water and drown them. But we do have lots and lots of items at the moment, and we're getting through that review now. It's gone 35 minutes and we haven't solved any puzzles just yet. But what do we find? The Troll Bridge.
Who's that trip-trapping over my bridge?
Here we are. It's only me, the littlest Billy Goat Gruff. I'm going to the meadow to make myself fat.
And I'm gonna gobble you up.
Oh no, please don't gobble me up. I'm far too little and not at all fat. Wait until the second Billy Goat Gruff comes along. He's much fatter than I am.
Very well. Be off with... Hang on a minute. I've fallen for this before. If we keep going on like this, then I get butted into the river again.
No, no, no! That's all wrong. Referring... You've gone too far now.
I shall not.
Top of the morning to you, Mr. Troll. May I cross the bridge, please?
No, no one may cross the bridge until I have satisfaction.
And a fine bridge it is, too.
I clean it every day, and no one shall cross it until I have satisfaction.
Luckily for you, I'm a traveling satisfaction salesman.
Really? Perhaps you can tell me what satisfaction is. Hang on a minute. What's with the whistle around your neck?
It's a magic whistle.
Luckily, if we have a magic whistle, that's all we need to get past this roadblock.
Huh, that did a lot. Now where were we? Oh yeah, I was just going to suggest eating you in.
Is this guy bothering you?
Yeah, sick him.
Righty-ho.
Oh,
You've been picking on my friend.
no, sir.
He seems to think otherwise.
Ow!
What should I do with him?
Chuck him in the stream.
Okie dokie. Everything okay now?
Yeah, thanks a lot.
See ya.
And that means after a big long conversation we get to cross that bridge. And it was a lot easier to give the red herring to the guy in the Secret of Monkey Island or whatever he had to do. And yes, finally we have a placard which appears to do nothing at the moment. All we can do is admire the scenery and ask lots of dumb questions along the way. And sometimes it's fun to ask the comical ones, but obviously you don't want to get killed or even delayed in this game. Because if you wanted a relaxing time walking through a forest, this is the game for you. If you want to solve lots and lots of puzzles, quite difficult ones as well, well, this might not be because you won't wander through them on every single screen. But we've just wandered through one on that particular screen. We'll come back to him a bit later on for the magic beans. But for now, let's take the northern route again and let's continue with our exploration. And what do we find? Yes, the other side of that river, this is the other side of that river that I was aiming to get to. So now we can use those vines and climb down to the other side of the river, and on this side we'll find someone fishing, and guess what that is a tribute to? Yes, more Lord of the Rings. Even this guy is called Gollum, which means we're going to have to sit through even more exposition until we get that fishing rod.
Excuse me?
Yes? Don't hurt us. Don't let him hurt us, precious nice hobbits.
I hope this isn't an infringement of copyright.
Don't worry. It's just the annual meeting of the Tolkien Appreciation Society.
Where's the rest of them then?
In that cave, enjoying themselves. It's my duty this year to get lunch. I haven't had a nibble for half an hour, though.
Luckily, I happen to have some top-quality, highly nutritious swamp stew with me.
Really? That's excellent. Will this go around 40 people?
It's concentrated. Just add boiling water and stir.
Thanks a lot. You can have the fishing rod in return.
Tar?
I'll go and join the others looking for the ring.
What ring?
The ring. I could have sworn I had it on me when I started fishing.
Now we'll have to fish our way through to what we need, and in this case, what could it be? What could it actually be apart from a magic ring? And so this game really hitting us over the head with those fantasy novel references until we really can't escape them.
Aha! I wonder if this thing really works. Bloody hell! It does work! I'd better take it off before I wear it out. The Great Ring. It has strange symbols on it.
And I've no idea what that does, but I don't think that we can explore the cave from here, and I don't think any of that trash does anything either. So let's just leave again by those vines, and now that we have all of those items, it means we don't have to return here again. It means hopefully that, well, I'm not sure that we need that rod for anything, hopefully we don't, and we still have a few more items in our inventory. So from here, let's go around solving a few of those puzzles. And so that was the first one. As long as we got the stew, we can get the magic ring, and as long as we have that bucket of water, we can also get the magic beans. But as long as we have the bell chime, we can also activate this bell, which means we get another item.
What the hell do you want?
I've come to rescue you. Who put the lights out?
Hopefully we can simply use that hair and climb our way up that castle. Yes, it's as easy as that in this game. And what do we find at the top? Maybe it's a fair maiden.
Caw!
What the hell do you want? You're not the Wicked Witch.
I am your Prince Charming, come to sweep you up in my arms.
You're the third Prince Charming this week. The witch caught the rest of them and turned them into meat pate.
Which witch would that be?
The Wicked Witch of the West. She took me from my father when I was just a piglet. It was she that perverted my beauty and imprisoned me here. Am I destined to spin wool for the rest of eternity?
Hang on. Did you say piglet?
Maybe this will explain everything.
My God!
Everyone makes the same mistake. And when they see my face, they run screaming from the tower. The only way the spell can be broken is with a kiss from one from another dimension.
This is where I come in, I feel. Fear not, your savior is here. What did I do to deserve this?
So that's how you get the truffle sniffing pig, and if you remember, right at the beginning we found a door, and it was the chocolate truffle door. And don't think that there's anything else in here, which is, again, another bit of a waste of time, but we do have a pig for our time and trouble, so let's just use that hair again. And it's great to see that animation, and they didn't have to go to all these lengths with the animation, as I keep on saying, but it really does help in a game where nothing really much goes on. It's not really exciting, there's no sword fights or anything like that. We're not on the bottom of the ocean picking up swords, we're not on boats trying to get to other islands, we're not in a futuristic landscape talking to robots, we're not actually, doing most of the things that we usually do on these point-and-click adventures. And so it was a bit of a letdown, but again, if you do like long, complex and maybe convoluted adventures like this we'll get to a bit later on, then that's great. For now, we've found an oaf, and the oaf will give us eventually, after some more explaining of the narrative, it will give us a magic bean, as long as we have that bucket of water. So let's just move on to those scores. Amiga Power gave this the lowest score. Yes, this is the CD32 version I'm talking about. They gave this 57%. Jonathan Nash said that the gameplay was sprawlingly colourless. And he didn't mean the colours on offer, he meant vacant. And so sprawling and vacant I'd probably agree with, 57%. Amiga Format gave this game 70%. Amiga Computing awarded it 80%, Lemon Amiga gave this 86%, Amiga Dream gave it 86%, even Amiga Joker gave this 86%, Amiga Concept and The One both gave it 89%, Amiga Action gave this very CD 90%, C Amiga gave this 90%, and Dato Magazine also gave this 100% 5 out of 5. That means the average score is around about 9 out of 10, but I'm going to round it down to 8.5 because of that Lemon Amiga score. It drags it down somewhat because players said that it wasn't quite as funny as some of the jokes made out, and it was a bit sprawling compared to other point-and-click adventures, and so that's why it gets an average score of 8.5 out of 10. At the moment, we've thrown that bucket of water down on the floor and the guy's planted a seed in there, so that means we can use the quick method to get back to where we need to go. And planting a seed means we get back to a dung heap and plant the seed in the dung heap. Where's that then? Well, it's behind the cottage, I think, that we found more or less towards the beginning of the game. So let's rock on down the highway, let's knock on that door with the pig, and let's see if that'll bash the door down and get us any further in this highly colourful, plodding game. princess has now eaten her way through that door, which means we can step through, and it's a load of cakes inside, none of which we can actually touch. And so let's wave that mouse pointer around, higgledy-piggledy, and see what we can pick up. And we can pick up the stove, that's a good idea. And a hat, we can pick up a hat as well. And a bed, well, that could reveal something. And so let's see, yes, we can grab that hat. And we need that hat because it's a beekeeper's hat. And maybe there's some smoke around here as well. And
it's too big for me.
I think the smoke is the yellow thing on the dressing table, the sideboard, the dresser, you can see, whatever you call that in your language. I think it's the yellow thing. So let's continue to wave that around. We still need the smoke to pacify the bees. There it is. Smoke box. Let's get that. And now we have the net and the smoke box. Hopefully we can get the wax out of the bees. I'm surprised to learn that after Chris Barrie worked on this game, of course Chris Barrie from Spitting Image and Red Dwarf, then the creators of this game worked onto the Fable Files, where the other Red Dwarf guy, Robert Llewellyn, who played Crichton, was another voice actor in that game. So if you like Red Dwarf connections, check out the Fable Files on the Amiga. And it didn't get high rating, it was released in 1997, so virtually no magazines rated it, but you'll find Robert Llewellyn in the Fable Files.
I took some beeswax from the hive.
At the moment we've got that wax, and what we're supposed to do with that wax is take it to a barrel in the bar and stuff the barrel with it. And having stuffed the barrel nozzle with it, the barman will think it's empty and chuck it out. Having chucked it out, we can then pick it up and take it to the dwarf hole, and he will also give us the password as well. So as long as we have the password and the beard, we can now get a magical item from that dwarf cave that we found, which is in the crossroads that we found on the map. And at the moment I'm completely not in the right place because we're trying to find a dung heap. Remember, we have the magic beans, and I thought it was behind the witch's cottage. It isn't. So where can it be? Let's check out back in town again. Maybe it's behind the very building that we were in before, and it's behind one of these buildings. It's a dung heap. Let's go all the way back to the start of the game and let's see if we can find it. And yes, through here. Hopefully we can find a blacksmith, and I think he will come in handy later on. We're supposed to use a metal detector in the hills that we found up in those snowy wastes, and that will find us a chunk of rock and some mithril, and he will grind that down into a peg that we need to get across a chasm. But in the meantime, we've got some magic beans, so we don't have the water, we do have the beans. Let's chuck it into the manure and let's see if that instantly grows.
Wow, this must be good compost.
Yes it does, and that reveals a melon. And that melon is just about the right shape to block that tuba euphonium thing that guy was playing, and that means we can get that and wake up the giant with it. So those are the puzzles. Once you know what to do, it's obvious. But when you don't know what to do and you're plodding around this game endlessly, it's not obvious. So that's why we found lots and lots of things on the map, because the map means we can get to things a lot quicker.
That doesn't work. $36, $24, $38.
Oh, curses. It's broken.
This is your lucky day. I just happen to own a musical instrument repair parlour. I can have it done up for you in no time.
Really?
Sure. Just hand it over and I'll return it within an hour.
We're really really racking off those puzzles now, and now that we've got that machine, we can zip straight to that guy and try to wake him up. Guess what's going to happen when he wakes up? You can see the tree, you can see a chasm. It really is those great animations which make the game exactly what it is. A cartoon adventure, although it's a bit too convoluted to be a proper cartoon adventure. It's got more substance to it than Little Devil and things like that, but it's got more depth to it as well. But some of these puzzles aren't obvious until you know how they work. You see, we're now entering a dragon pit.
My God! It's a real dragon!
Well, what did you expect in a dragon's cave?
This isn't happening.
I wouldn't hang about if I were you. I've got a fearful cold and consequently am not fully in control of my breath. Achoo!
Ouch!
Luckily, it's very hard to die in this game, and hopefully he will be revived in a second. What we're supposed to do? Well, we're supposed to give him the cough medicine. That allows us to get to a fire extinguisher on the back wall. So if we just sneak in on there again, hopefully I'll be able to show you the back wall. You would think if we wear the magic ring we can simply walk past him. No, it's not that obvious what we're supposed to do. So let's just walk in there. You can see the fire extinguisher at the back. And so if we give him the cough medicine, hopefully he'll allow us to get there. And that reveals a fossil at the back of this room that we take to the archaeologist that we should have found in that hole that was being dug in the floor. If you didn't find the archaeologist and talk to him, well, you can't find the fossil, and you're supposed to take the fossil to the blacksmiths first of all, and he'll hammer that thing away to reveal the fossil for you, and that cleans it up. So that's what you're supposed to do with that. Not that we'll be doing anything like that on this particular playthrough. I think the graphics are superb, the sound effects are brilliant. The voice acting is above average for the main part, only because of Chris Barrie, and below average compared to the other guy that was supposed to be doing it. But I think it's a mixed bag, because the puzzles are sometimes very obvious, sometimes very obscure, and sometimes you could be going into something that's very obvious or obscure, just like this one. All you have to do is click on the exit and you'll simply walk around the obstacle. And with this one, doesn't it borrow a lot from Monkey Island? Yes, it rips it off left, right and centre, because the leg bone is connected to the head bone is connected to the nothing, because it's just a rip-off. So I'm very sorry, but it does use those tip-offs to other games, not advantageously in this case, because it's a rip-off too far. And what could have been an excellent game turns out to be quite memorable, only for Chris Barrie and the graphics. But unfortunately it gets a bit too confusing unless you're following the walkthrough, and I didn't get very far with it. In fact, this is as far as I've ever got with this game. So this is a play guide. This explains how to get through the first few puzzles, and if we take a look at that map we can see we've found our way all the way through to the dragon and the hills and the bridge and all of that. So hopefully that's introduced you to this game if you want to continue from where I left off. And it's a quick way to get around the world once you know where you are and where you're going. So I haven't been south here, so that's my next port of call, and I'll see you in another play guide sometime soon. Thank you.